Good Wednesday evening to you. Richard Scott here with the forecast update. Latest on what's happening in the tropics, plus your local weather and local impacts possible this weekend with the tropics. So this update about 10:30 on this Wednesday night. So here is the latest as of 10:30. The National Hurricane Center continues this at a tropical depression number 16. This should become a tropical storm sometime later tonight. And it's starting to get better organized, starting to see convection wrap around the center. And as that does occur, organization will continue and we'll likely see the winds increase. Here's the track, and this from the National Hurricane Center comes up to a point near Cancun and Cozumel sometime Friday night into early Saturday morning. It's a strong tropical storm, perhaps a weak hurricane, and then comes into the Gulf. As a hurricane, more than likely, understand intensity forecasts with these things. There's not a lot of skill in the exact wind speed forecast with a hurricane or a tropical storm, so this could be stronger or weaker by this point. I do think it will be a hurricane as it comes into the central Gulf of Mexico, and then after that, Saturday night, it's coming north. Big question is, where does it come inland? This should be a fairly small wind circulation with this, so exactly where it comes in will be critical to what type of weather they experience along the coast. And also here in central Alabama, whether we have any strong winds or not, it really depends on the intensity at landfall and where that landfall point is. The cone of uncertainty, now don't focus on the little red line. The cone of uncertainty extends all the way into New Orleans to the west, and looks like the Big Bend of Florida to the east. And that, again, landfall time should be sometime on Sunday. It looks like midday into the afternoon on Sunday, likely as a hurricane by that point. Officially, the little red line comes into a point near Pensacola, Florida, Sunday afternoon. But again, this thing's going to change some. Understand there's a lot of uncertainty with this. We're still to that long-range forecast in terms of a tropical system. It will continue northeast into likely northern Georgia and perhaps near the Gatlinburg by Monday night. Here's some of the tracks, and again, these are different model tracks. We call these the spaghetti plots. It looks like spaghetti noodles on a map, and look at the spread there. We got some members that take it all the way into central or western Louisiana to come inland, and others that go into Panama City area, Florida. So again, anywhere in that, that's where that storm could make landfall. But confidence is pretty high that it is going to come into the northern Gulf Coast as a strong tropical storm or perhaps a hurricane. So anybody along the Gulf Coast, you need to watch this thing carefully over the next few days. Now, tomorrow morning, the bus stop forecast, local weather, no problems at all. Temperatures of the 60s. In fact, out there tonight, conditions are dry. It is getting cooler. Again, this recording about 10:30 on this Wednesday night. Highs earlier this afternoon didn't manage to make it up into the upper 80s over West Alabama. Meanwhile, East Alabama, generally low to mid 80s. Tonight, temperatures are cooling pretty quickly. Already 58 in Coleman. We'll see some 50s again to the north of I-20 tonight, low 60s south of there. But no rain. Again, things are going to be dry overnight. If you've got plans outdoors, no need for an umbrella. Tomorrow morning, starting off in the low 60s, again, north of Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, upper 50s likely. And by mid-afternoon, should be in the mid to upper 80s, especially over West Alabama. Here's your forecast model into tonight, all dry. Notice the cooler readings up around Anniston and Gadsden, low to mid-50s there. Tomorrow afternoon, temperatures should be back at 80s statewide, and tomorrow night, as we go into Friday morning, again, those low to mid-60s for West Alabama, upper 50s for northern and eastern portions of Alabama. Could see a few clouds coming in by Friday evening or Friday night. A forecast tonight, again on average, low 60s, cooler readings to the north. Tomorrow will top out in the mid to upper 80s. Here's your forecast. Now, as we go to the weekend, this is going to be completely dependent on what happens with what should be a tropical storm or Hurricane Nate. Right now, I've got a pretty good chance for some rain coming in, especially Sunday into Monday. Looks like that'll be the main impacts to our local weather with some rain, perhaps some wind. We'll have to fine-tune the specific details on what impacts you could expect as things get kind of nailed down a little bit better. And I think that will happen tomorrow, so keep checking back with us for updates. Could even have some showers on Saturday as some of that tropical moisture interacts with a front approaching Alabama. So if you got plans outdoors for this weekend, at least the latter half of the weekend should be pretty wet.